We're talking all things DeFi today with Ben Samaroo. He is the CEO of WonderFi. Ben, welcome back to the show.
Great to be here.
Perfect timing. Friday today. Ethereum has hit a new all-time high. Why?
Everybody's excited about Ethereum. There's a few different things going on. There's been some technical upgrades to the network, which is just providing more confidence. Bitcoin's recently hit all-time highs, and so that's definitely providing more excitement about the space. People are looking at the asset class a lot more. And really, there's just been so much happening in the decentralized finance space, and almost all of that transaction volume and activity is happening on Ethereum. There are some other chains that are providing alternative solutions to Ethereum, but Ethereum really is the default and where a lot of the action is. And people are getting excited about that, and really, I think, starting to see the longer term potential of what DeFi has to offer, and Ethereum plays a big part in that.
Tell us about this recent upgrade in the Ethereum network. Why was this important?
Again, what it comes down to really is just providing more sort of security and just a bit more kind of technical confidence for your, from the investment community. I think is a big part of what feeds into that. And so as we start to see the network evolve, these upgrades, and the community being able to provide input on on the specific upgrades that happen, it just provides more confidence in the asset class itself. And then Ethereum is also getting ready for a move to proof of stake, which is going to be pretty interesting, and provides a lot of advantages to the proof of work model.
Mm-hmm. It's not abandoning its proof of work model, right? It's just adding to it.
Correct.
Okay.
And I think it really is important to emphasize that the attraction and interest in Ethereum, it's really because there's so much happening in the decentralized finance space, and with NFTs as well. But in any case, it's so many of these use cases that if we rewind 3 or 4 years ago, people were dreaming of what could possibly happen with these programmable smart contracts on Ethereum. And now we're seeing that really come to life, and the true potential.
So again, bring this back to the parallels with the earlier all-time high cycle, which was in 2017. Everyone talks about the crypto winter that happened in 2017. Would you say that right now there's a lot more applications for DeFi and Ethereum, and perhaps even for Bitcoin, that didn't exist back then in 2017?
Absolutely. So in 2016 and 2017, again, nobody really knew what the big application would be on DeFi. Some people thought it would be finance. Some people thought it would be data storage. There were a bunch of different possibilities, and that's also what caused such a bubble with some of these new assets, because everybody had a promise of this is the next big thing on blockchain, on Ethereum. And we did have decentralized exchanges back then, but there were few and far between, and there was no real volume or activity there. And so now we're seeing people are putting their money where their mouth is. There's a lot of development happening at the protocol level on Ethereum, which means you're seeing real financial products that are coming to life in a decentralized way, whether it's decentralized trading or lending, staking, derivatives. Really, anything you can imagine is now happening in a decentralized way on Ethereum and other chains in the DeFi space.
It's interesting how Ethereum hasn't immediately fallen after its previous all-time high. It's maintained its position rather well this year. Are you concerned about a price correction? Should people be selling at this current high? Is basically what I'm asking.
My personal perspective, and I'm not a trader, so maybe not the best person to ask, but as a person who's been in the space for a long time, I think it is important to zoom out and really look at the more macro trends and how the asset class evolves from really year over year. And what I would say is that we're definitely early in terms of the applications of smart contracts and blockchain, and Ethereum is a big part of that. So
Yeah,
I would always say it's best to sort of zoom out and look at, for instance, DeFi is driving a lot of the excitement and price activity around Ethereum, and let far less than 1% of people are using DeFi or even know about DeFi. But what DeFi is offering is a new way to do finance. It's a potential
exactly.
disruptor to the financial system. So the total addressable market is huge, and I would sort of look at it that way rather than the sort of day to day, week to week price
Right.
fluctuations.
It's no longer just the way I'm interpreting your message, and actually the message of other crypto analysts and people who work in the space, is that Ethereum, along with other coins that operate on the Ethereum network, they're no longer just coins for speculation. There's actual utility to be made and observed in the space, and of course that makes it more like a tech product rather than a tech sort of investment. The way I see it, anyway. But let's bring it back to WonderFi. Your company is very much involved in the DeFi space. Give us an overview and tell us about the recent partnerships with Circle, for example, DeFi Pulse.
Absolutely. Our mission with WonderFi is to make DeFi accessible to everyone. We really see this as the most important technology, in globally right now, because it's touching on the finance industry, which is the biggest industry in the world, has a lot of problems with transparency, efficiency, and equity. And what DeFi is presenting is a solution to all of that. But we're really in the first, not even the first innings of DeFi. We're just getting past experimental technology, and we're getting to something that we're seeing some protocols that are getting a lot more usage, and providing really efficient solutions for people to trade and earn interest on their assets, lend and borrow, etc. And so we really look at the DeFi space as something that is meant to be accessible and inclusive. It's being able to provide bank accounts for people that are unbanked. It's providing yield for people that are used to getting next to nothing in their traditional savings account, and credit for people that can't get credit. And that's really the equality and inclusiveness that's behind DeFi. And the problem that we identified with WonderFi is that there's this huge promise of DeFi, but it's only really technical people that can use it, or people that have been trading crypto for a long time. And so our mission is to just lower the barriers as much as possible and make this technology accessible to everyone.
Okay, and the partnerships that you've recently been involved with, tell us about that.
Sure. So we've really been surrounding ourselves with leaders in finance and in the crypto space. FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried were an early investor in WonderFi, and now we've just announced a partnership with Circle. Circle is a provider of USDC, which is the world's largest stable coin, and an incredibly important asset. It's can't emphasize that enough. And so we're working with Circle to provide better access to USDC to help grow the number of people that can use it across the world, and then also facilitating people to be able to earn interest on their USDC, which for those that aren't familiar with stable coins, that's a digital dollar that is backed by an actual US dollar and doesn't have the price volatility of something like Bitcoin or ETH.
And you recently closed a deal with Canaccord as well, $26 million deal. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we closed a $26 million bought deal with Canaccord. I think it just shows there's so much excitement about this space, and we're so early, so there's a lot of investor interest in it, and in what WonderFi is doing in particular. So that allows us to speed up our product development roadmap. We've got a lot of great stuff coming down the pipe, and for us to explore more partnerships like we've been doing with Circle. DeFi Pulse is another one that we signed a partnership with recently, and they're people outside of the crypto space won't be familiar with them, but they're a big name in this space. And what they do is they provide index products similar to ETFs for DeFi and crypto assets, and so we're basically through WonderFi now, you can, in 1 or 2 clicks, own a market cap weighted index of everything in the of the major assets in the DeFi and crypto space. And then we're working with DeFi Pulse to create more custom indexes that are more tailored for specific risk tolerances and audiences.
And you've got an app coming up. Tell us about that.
Right. So the WonderFi app, it's our core product. It really is the trusted gateway to DeFi and is focused around education and just simple access, taking out all the jargon, taking out all of the stuff that the early adopters of crypto care about, but the mainstream does not. And
Yes.
it's somewhere to go where you can get into the space, buy your first assets, trade through decentralized exchanges in a really simple way, earn interest on those assets through lending, staking, and then buy indexes to own the market. And it's all done in a non-custodial way. So it's really empowering people to own and control their own assets. And that's really in line with the whole thesis of DeFi, which is putting the power back in the hands of the people and helping to democratize finance.
Before I let you go, I need to talk to you about Facebook's transition to the Metaverse. Has this been correlated at all with the surge recently in the last 2 days with Ethereum and Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin less so, but Ethereum especially. Are they related at all? Bitcoin's price movement, Ethereum's price movement, and Facebook's next steps towards focusing on the Metaverse?
I think Facebook's been looking at that change for a while, and they've, going back to 2017, have been investing in looking at how blockchain can play into what they're doing. So I know that they have some extremely talented people, some of the best talent in the world working at Facebook and looking at blockchain and crypto and how they can integrate that into what they're doing. So I don't necessarily think the all-time highs have played a part in that. I know it's been a part of their strategy, and they're very forward-looking in terms of the direction that they're going. So, but it is exciting to see giants like that are making big steps into the space. I think it's just great for it's great for adoption as well, because if you have people reading headlines about this name change and then being able to dig in a little bit more about why they're doing it and what's really behind that.
So there's no correlation at all. It's not pushing up the price of the cryptocurrencies, is what you're saying?
I apologize. I thought you were asking if the Facebook decision was being impacted by that.
Well, I mean, that's an interesting angle too. Yeah, the other way.
Yeah, the other way. I think it definitely has an impact. Everybody has eyes on Facebook, and for sure we've seen it time and time again when you have leaders in the economy like Facebook and Tesla, MicroStrategy, etc., Shopify, when they show an interest or an investment in the space, it reacts accordingly. So I would say it's certainly playing into that for sure, among a number of other factors.
Okay, generally, what do you think about the Metaverse? Is that something you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think there's a lot of potential there. It's not a focus for me personally or for our company, and I think one of the lessons that we learned from the last cycle in crypto in 2016 and 2017 is there's going to be a lot to focus on because there's so many different opportunities, but the best way to execute and to really add value into the space is to focus on one thing. And so right now there's DeFi, there's NFTs, there's the core crypto stuff with Bitcoin and Ethereum, there's a bunch of new assets, there's the Metaverse, and so I think it's great that there's people focused on growing that area, and Facebook stepping into the space is going to be great for really for the ecosystem as a whole. But personally, my focus is more around decentralized finance.
So before I let you go, meme coins. I know you're not a trader. I know you're not a money manager, but you're an expert in the DeFi space. You follow the cryptocurrency market very closely. What's going on with SHIBA INU? I read somewhere that somebody, I don't know if this is true, but an address was apparently looked up. It had $8,000 worth of SHIBA last year invested. Now it's up to about $5 billion. That person never sold. So it's that address that was 8,000 is now worth 5 billion. There's a new coin that came out. It's called Squid. It's the cryptocurrency based on Squid Game. Yeah, that's up 20. I was looking at CNBC. It's up 2,400% in the last 24 hours. What's going on in this space right now? Yeah,
that is insane.
Ticker SQUID Squid. Yeah,
I'll have to take a look. That actually that hasn't come on my radar until now. That's exciting. I think, and I know I have people that I know closely that were early investors in Dogecoin and some in SHIBA, and so I've heard these stories, and you see it really, it changes people's lives, which is really incredible. But
no kidding.
I think I hindsight is always 20/20. I'm like, I'm not going to buy a coin that has a dog on it, but I think the lesson from that, or just it's really interesting to me because it just shows how much the social media universe plays into finance now, and so we see it in crypto with coins like this, and we've seen it with GameStop and Robinhood, and it just all of these events like this Squid coin that you're talking about, it just solidifies that finance has changed, and it is very social now, and that is who holds the power. It's the crowd that holds the power, and it's super interesting to see these things unfold.
Again, hindsight is 20/20, but actually, when you think about it, it makes sense. I mean, Dogecoin's already had its peak and its bubble, and it's popped. What's the next meme coin? Well, it's the coin that looks like Doge. It's the other dog coin.
Yeah, I know.
It makes sense. Right?
It's so simple. It's so simple.
It's so simple.
Yeah, it's so
actually,
simple.
Twitter, crypto influencers were all over Twitter in the last couple of days. One of my favorite tweets was from this lady. She said, "If I had $8,000 and I need to flip it into a 5 billion by Memorial Day, what would that be?" What do you have any idea as to what the next meme coin is going to be? Speculate.
Maybe let's see what the next new Netflix series is, and maybe that'll be a good indicator.
It's not
that's my best guess.
Not a bad strategy. All right, Ben, I appreciate you coming on the show. Excellent thoughts.
Absolutely.
Thank you, and good luck with your next upcoming updates to your project. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
And thank you for watching Kitco News. I'm David Lin.